Broken vessels, how your cracks become channels for light. Have you ever stared at a broken thing and thought, this is beyond repair? Maybe it wasn't a thing at all. Maybe it was you. I recently had the profound privilege of interviewing Sonya Denise, whose wisdom on healing and resilience left me fundamentally changed. If you haven't encountered her work, imagine someone who combines the spiritual insight of Brene Brown, the practical wisdom of Maya Angelou, and the unflinching honesty of Glennon Doyle, all wrapped in a voice that makes you feel like you're sitting across from an old friend who sees straight through your carefully constructed facades. Her work has quietly transformed thousands of lives through her counseling practice, her writings, and her community building efforts among women seeking wholeness after trauma. Today, I'm sharing what I learned from her, insights that might just transform how you view your own brokenness. The Japanese have this beautiful practice called kintsugi, the art of repairing broken pottery with gold. Instead of hiding the cracks, they highlight them, they celebrate them. The philosophy behind it suggests that breakage isn't the end of something's story, it's simply part of its history, its journey. What if we viewed ourselves the same way? According to Sonya Denise, you are not defined by your brokenness, you are refined by how you rise. This isn't some fluffy feel good statement meant to look good on a coffee mug. It's a radical reframing of how we perceive our wounds, our failures, our disappointments. We live in a culture obsessed with perfection. Social media feeds full of filtered lives, highlight reels masquerading as reality. And in the midst of all this curated content, we're left wondering why our own lives feel so messy, so broken, so unworthy of being seen. I mean, nobody posts Instagram stories about their therapy sessions, do they? Nobody creates TikToks about the crying in their car during lunch breaks. Nobody tweets about how they're still not over that thing that happened 5 years ago. But what if our brokenness isn't something to hide? What if it's actually the very thing that makes us most human, most relatable, most capable of profound connection? Let me tell you about Minda Harts. As a Black woman navigating corporate America, Minda encountered barriers that threatened to break her spirit: discrimination, isolation, lack of mentorship, the kind of daily paper cuts to the soul that eventually become gaping wounds. She could have hidden those wounds, covered them up, pretended they didn't exist. After all, isn't that what we're taught to do in professional settings? Leave your personal problems at the door. Don't let them see you sweat. Fake it till you make it. Instead, she named them. She began writing about her experiences, creating workshops, building communities where women could share their stories safely. That vulnerability, that willingness to say, this hurts, and here's why, transformed her pain into purpose. Today, Minda's book, The Memo: What Women of Color Need to Know to Secure a Seat at the Table, is a bestseller. She's featured in Forbes, Essence, MSNBC. She's created national platforms empowering thousands of women, not despite her brokenness, because of it. This is what Sonya Denise means when she says healing is a journey that begins with honesty and community. The process starts when we name our pain and allow ourselves to be vulnerable, first with ourselves, then with God or trusted others. Dr. Thema Bryant knows this journey intimately. As both a psychologist and minister, she faced the stigma around mental health within faith communities alongside her own personal struggles with grief and loss as a young Black woman. The path forward wasn't pretending those challenges didn't exist. It wasn't spiritualizing away her pain with platitudes. It wasn't compartmentalizing her psychological knowledge from her faith. It was integrating her psychological expertise with spiritual wisdom to create spaces where honest dialogue about brokenness and healing could happen, where people could bring their whole selves, the broken parts and the beautiful parts, and find acceptance, find hope, find a way forward. Today, Dr. Bryant is president elect of the American Psychological Association. Her books and podcasts, Homecoming, reach millions seeking practical tools for healing. She trains churches and schools worldwide on trauma informed care. She didn't rise despite her wounds, she rose through them. There's something powerful about naming our pain, something almost sacred. When we bring our brokenness into the light, it loses some of its power over us. The monsters under our bed are always scariest in the dark, but naming our pain is just the beginning. Sonya Denise emphasizes that surrounding yourself with supportive people who remind you of your value is essential for growth. We need community, people who see us, truly see us, and still choose to stay. People who remind us that our story isn't over, because that's the third powerful truth Sonya Denise shared. There's always an opportunity to bloom again. Even if life has taken unexpected turns or doesn't look like what you imagine, there is always hope for renewal and transformation. Consider Tanya Rapley's story. After escaping domestic violence, she faced financial ruin, rock bottom, sleeping on friends' couches, questioning her self worth and future. But Tanya refused to believe that chapter was the end of her story. She began educating herself financially, then teaching others. She started a blog chronicling her setbacks and comebacks with raw honesty. Today, she's the founder and CEO of My Fab Finance, helping other women achieve economic freedom post trauma. Her platform reaches over 100,000 followers annually. She's been featured in Forbes and the New York Times. She didn't just survive, she bloomed again. And here's what's remarkable about all three women, Minda, Dr. Thema, and Tanya. They didn't just heal themselves, they created pathways for others to heal too. Their cracks became channels for light. This is the beautiful paradox of brokenness when we allow it to refine rather than define us. Our deepest wounds often become our greatest gifts to the world. The very things that could have destroyed us become the things that make us most useful, most compassionate, most able to connect with others in their pain. I'm reminded of Leonard Cohen's lyrics, there is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. But I think it works both ways. The cracks are how the light gets in and how it gets out. Your brokenness, that thing you're most ashamed of, that failure you can't seem to move past, that wound that still aches when the weather changes, it might just be the very thing the world needs most from you, not your perfection, your broken, beautiful humanity. Now, I can almost hear what some of you are thinking. That sounds nice, but you don't know what I've been through. You don't know how badly I've been broken. You're right. I don't. But I know this, there is no expiration date on becoming who you're meant to be. There is no wound so deep that healing can't reach it. There is no story so dark that light can't transform it. As Sonya Denise would say, God can bring beauty out of ashes repeatedly. The divine isn't intimidated by our mess. The sacred doesn't require our perfection. So, where do we go from here? How do we begin this journey of allowing our brokenness to refine rather than define us? It starts with a single courageous step. Name your pain. I want to challenge you to take 10 minutes this week just for you. Journal honestly about something painful you've carried alone too long, or speak it aloud during prayer or time alone with God or someone trustworthy. Name it without shame. Then write down one affirmation that reframes your story. I am not what happened. I am who I choose next. Place this somewhere visible so each day reminds you you are becoming again. Because here's the truth, we are all broken vessels, every single one of us. The question isn't whether we'll experience brokenness, it's what we'll do with it when it comes. Will we hide our cracks, ashamed of our imperfections? Will we try to patch ourselves up with perfectionism, achievement, or numbing behaviors? Or will we allow our cracks to be filled with gold, transformed into something more beautiful, more valuable, more human than perfection could ever be? Will we let our cracks become channels for light? I think about the women whose stories I've shared today: Minda Harts, Dr. Thema Bryant, Tanya Rapley, and I'm struck by how their journeys embody everything Sonya Denise teaches about resilience and healing. They named their wounds, they rewrote their stories, they built safe circles of support. They gave themselves permission to bloom anew, even when the world said otherwise. And in doing so, they didn't just change their own lives, they changed countless others. That's the power of embracing your broken places. That's the miracle of allowing yourself to be both broken and beautiful at the same time. So I leave you with this challenge: stop hiding your cracks. Stop pretending you've got it all together. Stop believing the lie that your worth depends on your wholeness. Instead, bring your broken pieces into the light, name them, honor them, allow them to connect you more deeply with others who are also broken and healing, because a world full of perfect, polished people will never heal. But a world where we embrace our brokenness, where we allow our wounds to become wisdom, where we let our cracks become channels for light, that world will transform. And it begins with you right here, right now, with whatever broken pieces you're holding. Your brokenness is not the end of your story, it's just the beginning of how your light gets out.